Everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's session. Uh, my name is Varun. I head hospital success at Medlearn. Medlearn team is super excited to connect with you all once again in its popular series of industry expert session, where we ensure that healthcare professionals get an opportunity, a platform to interact with seasoned leaders from healthcare. I welcome you all in today's webinar on improving hospital operational excellence through systematic and structured training. So before we introduce you all to our esteemed speaker for today's session, we would like you to have a quick brief about Medlan on what we are, what we do. Requesting Subhashri to kindly play the video for us.
Hospitals work round the clock to serve patients. Being at the center of the action, hospital physicians and staff must confront every situation and every challenge. They must also keep up with evolving health needs and knowledge through ongoing comprehensive training programs. What they need is a promising solution to ensure a continuous learning journey.
In today's world, technology is transforming life. Be it taxis, food delivery, everything we need is at our fingertips. Education is also going through a transformation, and we are at the forefront in the healthcare industry.
MedLearn is a comprehensive learning, training, and skill development platform incubated at Impulsys in India for healthcare professionals to attain the right mix of content, learning, and skills that help them throughout their career. The platform offers a wide variety of courses that enable hospitals to meet their employee training and development needs in areas of quality compliance, soft skills, and induction. The platform is designed in a way that it enables easy tracking of the real-time status of their learning progress. What's unique about this platform is that it's accessible anytime, anywhere, ensuring quality learning literally at your fingertips. Hospitals can now assign courses and track the competencies of users on specific topics with MedLearn's intelligent assessment tool, which gives them better administrative control. Its superior courseware helps hospitals provide standardized care and bridge skill gaps at every level in the organization. The healthcare professionals will also become more efficient and empowered when their learning journey progresses with ease and at their convenience. Let us unite to improve healthcare in India by spreading knowledge through technology. MedLearn. Better prepared for better care.
Thanks, Subhashri. And you can get more information on info@medlan.com. Now I request Mr. Deepak Sharma, co-founder and CEO of Medlan, to kindly introduce our speaker for today. Kindly unmute, please.
So, hi, good afternoon and welcome back to a very, very successful and sort of the next, episode of our series of expert speakers in healthcare. Today, Medlearn's very, very pleased and honored to welcome Ms. Neha Lal, who is the General Manager, Adani Healthcare, to be the speaker for the session. Sneha is an NABH assessor. She's also part of the technical committee, member and assessor in the QI Vice President of AHPI for Gujarat chapter. A few words before I before I let Ms. Neha take the lead, although she's already very well known. She's won several awards, including the Mother Teresa Sadbhavna Award, Women Leadership Award in Healthcare, Hospital Admin of the Year Award under Women Leadership by Praxis Media, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Sadbhavna Award, and lots of other awards. She's been recognized as top 50 strategist in the healthcare Medgate Today magazine. She's one of the most influential and recognized healthcare leaders, serves as an advisor and secretary to various healthcare associations. She's currently with Adani Group working as a general manager, healthcare divisions. She's a very seasoned healthcare and hospital management leader. She has a very strong and proven track record of contribution in streamlining almost every aspect of hospital operations, really invigorating businesses she's been part of, heightening the productivity, establishing and streamlining system procedures. She's got a rich experience in healthcare of more than 19 years. And we are very, very fortunate to have you here, Ms. Neha. And we hope to learn a lot more from you in the forthcoming session. Over to you. I think you need to unmute.
Good afternoon, one and all. Thank you so very much for joining in this session. We are going to talk about training and how training is going to be effective in hospital operations. So let us get this started without wasting any more minute. I'll just share my screen and then just give me a moment. Varun is fine.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yes. So guys, the topic is training, and first foremost is a discipline. When the training word comes, I think we were just talking behind the stage that we need to have sort of discipline into the system and processes, and thereby we generally achieve excellence to anything, any business we talk about. Let us understand more. uh, there is very famous quote during the pandemic. What the pandemic taught us that it is not the strongest of the species that survives, not most of the intelligent that survives. It's only the one they are most adaptable to change. And we only know that COVID-19 and 20, what more challenges and lot many changes happen in our whole environment and whole ecosystem, and then we have adopted. So I think in hospital also things are really evolving. The operations are such that nowadays we are talking about artificial intelligence. We talk about the chat GPT. We are talking about having the robotics in operation theaters and doing the surgeries. So in this constant era of changing, and when I say the change, is change for good, change for technology. So we always talk about the technology at Adani also, and I would really like to bring a lot many other solution as far as hospital operations are concerned, how to use the technology in a most effective way, right? I always compare healthcare with aviation. So when you look at the aviation and healthcare, this is a very good comparative, I would say, comparison which has been shown here. Sorry, comparison which has been shown here, that what are the parameters when we compare aviation with the healthcare. These are the few KPIs, and I would say the performance indicators. And when we really focus on first foremost thing is the safety. When you look at the safeguards and safety aspect, I mean, we know that whenever we board the flight, I mean, the air hostess with a smiling face, they actually throw the guidelines in terms of do's and don'ts to be done. Or although we know this, हमें पता ही होता है कि होता ही हमें पता ही होता है कि एयरबैग कहाँ रखा है, हमें पता ही होता है how to have the seat belt on. Still they pursue whenever you board the flight. We are the frequent flyers and we know what are the do's don'ts. Still they have a protocol. In hospital, that is really lagging behind. Understand it, agree or not, I think we often do not smile when you see the hostesses. When you enter to the any hotels, they tell you, how are you, Mr. Sharma? So they actually know you, they recognize you with the name. In hospital, the poor environment is we even do not know the name of the patients. Sometimes we have to refer the tagline or maybe the wristband where is the name tag is there. So I think first foremost, the training starts from the reception at the front office when we receive the patient, because the patient comes in the sickness, they come with the pain. And I think having the mere smile on your face, 50% pain goes. So there is, this is just an example wherein we talk about the whole operation. There are a lot many things to improve as an industry, I would say. So let us take this ahead. As far as hospital operations managements are concerned, these are the few things we talk about. One is service quality, service operation strategy, information technology, service scheduling, service performance, and then there are other elements. So healthcare operations is a discipline that integrates all the principles of management to determine the most efficient and optimal methods to support the patient care delivery. So people are generally asked, what are the operations? What do you do? What do you mean by the operations? Operations is nothing but when we learn the structure, process, outcome. When you put everything into structure, you process this, and then you enjoy the outcome. So this whole integrated system is called operations. All right. Just getting through the challenges of the healthcare in Indian context, there are major fives. One is awareness or the lack of it. Sometimes we are aware how is to be done, what is to be done, but generally we do not do it. There is the lack of it. Sometimes there is excess available or there is no excess available. Sometimes absence or the manpower crisis in healthcare. Sometimes we feel that nursing ki shortage hai. We have India a lot of shortages of nurses. It's not like that. Sometimes it's also crisis because lot many nursing are opting to the, I would say the international opportunities and they move away. There are issues about affordability or the cost of healthcare. Maybe we generally say that hospital cost is very high. We do not know what is the exact cost. And sometimes, yes, the population segment is such where the affordability is also questionable. Accountability or the lack of it. Sometimes employees, staff, including everyone, there is a lack of accountability, or sometimes accountability is not there at all. And I think we as a hospital leader have to inculcate that responsibility, accountability. For that we are working for. So there are a lot many aspects, and besides that there are a lot many small challenges which making hospital ineffective. I would say ineffective in terms when you have lesser outcome. We have unsatisfied patients going out of the hospital when they are taking discharge or exiting the hospital. So these are the five major challenges. So in healthcare, the operational excellence through the systematic and structural training, that is today's topic, is the understanding involved in using principles and tools to deliver continuous improvement of patients and staff. When we talk about continuous improvement, we talk about CQI, accreditation, standardization, and all not. So when we have continuous improvement which happens to the patients as well as the staff, how does it happen? When we have the inculcated training programs. When we say in training, it's not once in a blue moon we have conducted training and then we are enjoying. Training is done, documentation does is done. It's not about that. It's about the sustaining the training programs. Usually this means a focus on accessibility, processes and efficiency, quality, safety and clinical outcomes. So these are the few objective of training which we generally look for whenever we conduct the training at our own hospital. So these are the focus area when we have the training done. Famous quote on excellence is never an accident. It is a result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacle as an opportunities. So when we have a very bad experience in the hospital, maybe some patient is not happy and having a complaint about your food or having complaint about the doctors or having the complaints about your facilities. I think these are to be seen as an opportunity then and then we can improve. There is no any other way out just to achieve the excellence. When you repeatedly do one particular thing, one particular activity, one process, and the practice make the learning best. And I think that is how we can achieve the excellence. That is the message I want to tell you here. Understanding the hospital operational excellence is continuous quality improvement, staff training and development. That is one of the element here. Patient-centered care, technology integration. It's must now. You can't undone and you can't go back in that industry where we had a manual processes. Performance evaluation and accountability, very important, and the regulatory compliances. So when we have the operational excellence is nothing but the system excellence. When we have any system working in your organization, how to make that system sustainable. When you sustain that particular thing, you achieve the excellence. It is something like that, just you might have your kids and your kids are going to the school. If you do not monitor your kids' result or you do not follow the academies, what they are going through daily in their schools, or coaching or wherever they are up to, if it is not monitored and if the efforts are not efforts are not made towards the achievement, I think you can then expect the poor result of that poor kid. So the idea is when you monitor something, anything you monitor in a systematic way, please guys get me right, monitored in a systematic way, in a continuous basis, that is leading to the excellence. So whatever process you take in the hospital, and these are the elements about the technology, patient focused services, continuous improvement, development of your resources. These are all very important aspects. Few more are process improvement, data driven decision making. You can't just take that, this many employees are trained so that results will be good. No. So what are the data talking about? We need to have the database. I think healthcare is lagging behind in terms of data analytics. There is lot to do in that. Leadership and employee engagement is very important. Continuous improvement already talked about. Standardization, employee skills and competency. I think I always, when I talk on HR, it's very interesting thing when I ask people that what's your hobbies, and I think that is mentioned in your resume. Hobbies are music. You have a hobby of traveling, trekking. You are a good painter. You are good. What many other skills, and why it is there in the resume? Why we do that? Why we mention our hobbies and our passions in the resume? Because that is something we talk about. And when there is a internal event which is happening, we outsource our event management company. Why we are not utilizing our own resources? Why data are not gathered in a manner where we can just search our internal talent? Who are the musicians? Who are the good dancers? And maybe we can inculcate them, giving them the platform at the organization to perform. So all I mean to say is this is about the HR part, and mainly for the patient side. When we have the integrated data with us, which data is completely mapped in terms of in form of employees, your competencies are totally mapped. You can certainly trace out what are the skills you have, what kind of asset you have in your organization, be it your employees, be it your physical infrastructure, be it your patients, your doctors, anybody, and including your process. So if your data and processes are completely mapped into your system and generating a very talking data, interpretive data, which can lead to excellence. So nothing but the practice is the hardest part of learning, and training is the essence of transformation. So there are a group of technicians who's to be trained. There are a group of nurses to be trained. There is a group of front office people to be trained. And when you actually impart the training, the right training, that will transform your employees in terms of, we are going to see in terms of their confidence and their behavior, their skills, their capabilities, and lot many things. So to use the training to gain a competitive advantage, a hospital should view training broadly as a way to intellectual capital. We are creating an intellectual capital within the organization. So that includes the basic skill, advanced skills in understanding of the patient or systems, and for the self motivation, creativity. So when we actually go to the training, we generally come out with a smiling face. Why is that? Because something we have learned, some knowledge is acquired by us. Whosoever trainer is there, in whatever format you learn the training, but that is something that added value to you as a human being. Talking about the structured training in hospital operations, it is very critical in hospital operation because it ensures the staff members have the knowledge, skills, and the competencies necessary to provide safe and effective care to the patients. Of course, by which you can ensure your patient safety. You are giving the training for the ensuring patient safety. And I think number of, I would say the patient fall or any other events, adverse event, or I would say the sentinel events, everything is taken care of. And maybe you can just watch out the numbers that after training, what is the result. Enhancing staff satisfaction and engagement. Of course, when we are getting together, arranging and participating in training, there is a moment of fun. We all feel so motivated when we go for the training. Achieving the regulatory compliances, yes. Why? Because now the accreditation bodies, if you take NABH, QAI, ISQA, JCI, they focus much more on training. Why? Because if your staff are trained, they are empowered. When they are empowered, they can perform their task in a very, well mannered. So that is what that is what the compliances is talking about here. And of course, it will help in standardizing process and protocols. That is consistency in care delivery, because your protocol are such. You know that do's and don'ts to be followed at every flight, do's and don'ts to be followed before giving any medication to the patient. All hours to be, all 7 hours to be followed while giving medication to any patients to the bedside. That is about the consistency. So sometimes in hospital, we do not follow that consistent protocol, and then we land up to the error. So whatever it may be, that is what we have to learn from other industries, that is hospitality and aviation. They are also in a service industry where their protocols, procedure, SOPs are so designed in a such a way that that has to be followed come what may. And I think if we just learn to smile to the patient and we just learn to name them correctly, I think that would tell us lot many errors can be avoided by this. Improve patient flow and reduce wait time, of course, because you are working on it, and enhance staff performance. Staff will be empowered, staff are informed, well trained, and that performance will be increased. Very important slide on the data. So data driven insights are very important. These are the few numbers I would like to highlight here. A study by the American Hospital Association found that hospitals, those who implemented structured training programs for their staff, experienced 15% reduction in patient errors. 15% reduction. Another study said by the Institute of Healthcare Improvement found that the hospital implemented structured training programs for the staff experienced 20% reduction in HAIs. Imagine. And the third study by the JCI on health, JACO, found that the hospital implemented structured training programs for the staff. They have experienced 30% reduction in readmission rates. And these are our indicators. You all are knowing about the NABH mandatory KPIs, the readmissions, and all your HAIs and patient care, medication error and patient errors. I think if you have right data and if you integrate your data in a manner that your staff are very well trained, and these are your outcome, the errors are actually less. Why we should do the structure training? Of course, improvement in performance. Training improves the skill of an employee, yes, and in turns improves the employee's performance in both quantitative and qualitative teams terms. Improvement in quality, of course, when we do the training, the quality of that process, system, and everything gets increased, and I think it's more improved. High morale. Training to not only improve the skill of an employee, it also brings out a positive change in the employee's attitude. Better performance, avenues for the promotion leads to high morale among the employees. It is something like that you are doing some outbound training for the employees, any kind of training, any integration way. I think that forum itself create, I would say, the platform for employees to speak on, right? What they feel about it, kind of questions they have, kind of queries they have in the system. Sometimes our hierarchical structures are there in the organizations. The employees are working on the ground. They are not given any opportunity to ask their queries. And as a result, they are bowed down, and then they actually lose the interest working in that organization. So nothing but simple training, classroom training also will enhance their motivation. Few more is less supervision. Of course, the trained employee will perform efficiently, and your supervisory role will be little reduced in terms of control and all that. You may not need the supervisors because you know that my trained employees are working fine. Have you seen the supervisor in flight, or have you seen any supervisors working in the hotels? Because they are so trained. So supervision becomes less. Increase in organizational stability and flexibility. Yes, because your employees are trained in XYZ skill. You can always reshuffle them. You can always make them do other duties, other responsibility, added responsibility based on their competence. Also, the short run variation in volume of work require personnel with a multiple task, as I just said. Look at about the COVID. In COVID, all the doctors, all the nurses, even the non-medical staff were working only for the COVID. Only for the COVID. They were actually thrown to work on a multiple levels and taking multiple tasks because the COVID had actually taught us. So why not? If your employees are trained, I think any such thing happens again in the future, I think we are able to address those issues. And we can say that trained personnel are an asset to the organization. We generally consider that human resource are asset, but how to make them the potential, and I would say the intellectual asset, which is there lying, is a responsibility of hospital and organization. Fewer accidents, as I said, the errors are likely to occur if the employees have a lack of knowledge, but if they are trained, if there are training done on medication error management, training done on patient for training done for collecting data for HAIs and lot more, and training done on a fire accident or fire drills or something like that. So many trainings are done, and maybe your accident chances will be very less. Increase the productivity. Training improves efficiency and productivity of the employees. Well-trained employees shows both quantity and quality performances. Yes, your trained and motivated staff always do more what is expected from them. So the time, money, and resources, there is a less wastage of our resources, and if employees are properly trained. Training also fosters the initiatives and the creativity among the employees, and this in turn helps to prevent manpower adolescence, because you know that you have the employees, you have got the talent. It's just that your duty to make them, I would say, in an integrated approach where there are many platforms and opportunities are given to create the creativity in the system. Personal growth is there. The training program enables an individual to grow and expand his horizon. And the favorable organizational climate can be created. A sound training program results in a creation of favorable climate as the incidence of labor turnover, absenteeism, labor unrest is reduced considerably. So this is general. If I talk, that would not suffice the purpose. If the trainings are done in a structured manner wherein your all data are collated, combined together, and then you enjoy the analysis, I think that will make a sense when we talk about the structured training. There are newer trends in hospital training these days, and these are all about the innovative technologies, interactive learning methods, and ongoing professional development. One is the simulation based training. So hospitals are increasingly using the simulation based training to provide realistic and hands on experience. This is mainly for the teaching hospitals where you have students, where you have a medical professionals working there. And this approach will help in improving clinical competence, teamwork, and critical thinking. One is about the virtual reality and augmented reality. You know about the VR and AR technologies now are being employed to create a immersive training experiences. These days, even I would say in many universities and institutes, there are VR and AR supported training programs and academic programs which are actually designed for newer generations. So medical professionals also can use the VR headsets or AR devices to visualize the complex anatomical structures and perform the virtual surgery. So these are the new trends. Gamification also involves incorporating games element into the training programs to engage the learner participants for their active participations. I mean, of course, when we have the training, and how about doing the case studies on that particular subject on which the training is happening. There are a lot many tools available for the games, and those particular games actually enhance the knowledge and promote the healthy competition in the group, and maybe you can have the reward given and encourage the continuous learning. Fourth is mobile learning. As there are a lot many like Medlearn, they have a lot of mobile solutions available. It is just very easy. I have also used it. Hospitals are leveraging on the mobile devices because everyone is having mobile, right? And they can, you can have some app or something like that, and any professionals, even if at your home, at your, at your leisure time, you can go through the education materials, e-learning materials, and references. And this approach facilitates just-in-time learning, personalized education, which is available. That this is the customized training program designed for nurse, for technician, for doctor, for non-clinical staff, and about the knowledge sharing. So nowadays, I think there is a well, and there are a lot to do. We can do wonders with the help of technology and data. So these are about the mobile learnings. Then there are personalized learning path. There is a continuous professional development, team-based training, and the last is very important, which I've little enlarged. I want you all to focus on, that is a data-driven training. So hospitals are harnessing the power of data analytics to identifying the skill gaps. That only happens when we have the perfect competency mapping done as far as your human resources are concerned. Measure the training effectiveness, make the informed decisions, and the data-driven insights help in developing targeted training interventions and enhancing overall training effectiveness. So when you have the data which says that XYZ staff needs this particular training, see, generally hospitals are basically for following the conventional training. सबको class में बुला के training हो गया, and then the attendance is taken, feedback is taken on the manual basis, and training is done. Now this is not training. The training is a very large procedure, very large protocol, where you have to touch base on each and every steps. There are e-learning platforms, mobile applications are there, online collaborative platforms are there, data analytics and learning analytics are there. So that hospital can leverage on the learning analytics to track and analyze the effectiveness of their technology-based training program. So when you are in the receipt of the data about all your employees, how many trainings they have been undergoing, what is their performance, how is their behavior, what all other trainings are required for that employee to perform better. So that's a whole, I would say it's a whole program. It's called the T&D program. When we do the training programs, we develop our own talent. So in many hospitals, I've seen there is HR department, there is no L&D department, or there is no training and development department. I would urge all the hospitals, those who have joined here today, kindly focus and give some kind of leverage on this particular area, because if your employees are properly trained, adequately trained, and then I think organization can function in a better manner. We talk about the revenue, we are talking about the EBITDA, we are talking about the IRR and whatnot, and we are talking about the patient satisfaction or your market value. Everything is only revolving around your HR, I mean human resources. So when you cultivate your resources into exact talent, and that is where training and development takes the major part. So, how do we measure the training? What are the indicators which can help hospital in evaluating training effectiveness? Of course, the knowledge gain. How will you do it? When you take the exam, or maybe you can take the quiz or survey post training. How much they have got it? How many participants have got it correctly? That is about the indicator. So once you conduct the immediate exam of your participants, you will first come to know whether the training was successful or not. If they have not got it, maybe you have to redo the whole session. Skills improvement. What kind of improvement you have observed in the employee in terms of skills? Whether your training actually helped them to, understand that particular skill and the skill upgradation. That is the second indicator. Third is a training evaluation survey. What about your training room? Sandwiches which they eat in the break, or maybe the tea what they drink, or maybe the faculty who is taking the training are not good. So when we talk about the training evaluation, it's not just the technical part, we are taking training as a whole. So everything, whatever more the training is happening, you can take the survey, and you can do your analysis done, and then you can do the corrective and preventive actions for the further programs. That is also one of the very important indicators here. Performance metrics, how employees are performing. क्या पता last year the in the PMS, in the performance appraisal cycle, the employee was rated as a B category, wherein if it says that can do better wali category. But after having this structured training in place, how that employees are performing. So maybe the performance metrics also will tell you whether your trainings are working actually or not. Behavior change. It's just that after having all these program implemented, you can just oversee the things wherein your employees behavior changed or not, behavior for change for the good. you know are they talking sense, are they confident enough to talk to, are they confident enough and empowered enough to perform their own job. So whole environment, besides that employee and employee per se as a human, I think there are changes there once they are done. Employee engagement, because the training is nothing but the engagement. Good that you don't have to do the, I would say, the town hall meeting, because the training itself is a town hall. I mean, you can take the feedback of them. Please, you can do wonders in the training program, and employees can open up. You are giving them the platform. Even the security guards, when we conduct the training for the security guards, believe me, they have got a very good feedback rather than our own staff. Those who are standing on the gate, those who are there on the front office, and those who are working at the patient side, they know better because they are working with the patient. They know what the patient wants. They know what the patient is talking about. Sometimes patients are, I would say, not generally come out with the exact suggestions or complaints. Sometimes they give up because they're more the most concentration and focus on the treatment. If the treatment is this, I'm happy. Forget about the food part, forget about the cleanliness part, forget about your attendant, anything, any sort of elements we take. So all I want to tell you that never ever, I would say, disregard the staff who are working on the ground. I think they are your spokesperson. They are the one to be trained. And I think if you train them, I will tell you, they feel a lot motivated to do the best job in the hospital. Competition rates. Completion rates. So how many trainings we have completed? Ex-employees, how many training they have completed? And these are the trainings assigned to him or her from the data. And how many they have completed, how many to go. So, this is about the dashboard. Time and saving cost. Believe me, once your trainings are imparted, whatever cost it takes, whatever time it takes, but I think these are all worthy. So when you put all the cost in the table and when you actually analyze, these are the cost. This is not the cost, this is the investment. So you are doing the investment in your people to do the better job. Employee retention and satisfaction, of course. I mean, no doubt the employee satisfaction, of course, will increase with that. And there is a return on investment when your patients are going happy home. So these are the few parameters by which your hospital can actually measure the training effectiveness. This is my last slide showing that healthcare is second last for the digital transformation. Can you imagine? The last one is shipping and we are second last healthcare. सारे businesses आगे चल रहे हैं in terms of digital transformation. I think the onus is on us. We all are working for the healthcare. Let us do some good job. Nothing but at least start with the Microsoft Excel. When we start just putting up the random data, try to configure all the data in one slide and try to little analyze as to what this data is talking about. So whenever you put any figures, I think let your figures talk about it. It should not be the qualitative information. It's always have to be a quantify information, so that decision taking process can be easy and we can take the right decision in the healthcare operations. So this is just a slide which I want to show here. Before I end up my talk, I have a message here. Yeah. So this is about the training, effectiveness and the structured training. One last story which is coming to my mind about the training is that, just to complete our talk, that there was one huge forest and there were two woodcutters, A and B, right? So they were often debate over who will chop more wood or who has chopped the more wood. Therefore, one day they decided to get into the competition. Fine. So therefore, in the next day morning, both of them took up the different position in the forest and started chopping away the forest as soon as possible and as fast as possible. After an hour, the A person suddenly stopped, while the B realized that there is no chopping word coming up, or chopping sound coming from the opponent side. So let me go ahead and cut the wood at my own pace. Okay. He continued chopping the wood. After an hour also, we heard that his opponent chopping again. So that both of them continually and carried on that synchronizingly. After some times, A again stopped chopping the trees and started after small break. So that is how the whole day actually went off. And then, end of the day, Mr. B actually in confidence must have thought that, I'll win because I have actually put up very hard work and I continuously chopped the wood. But the result was, it's very simple. The A replied, the result was Mr. A actually won, and we could see that Mr. A chopped the more kind of a wood. So it's very really simple. Every time Mr. A replied that I have stopped work while you were chopping down the work, but I was sharpening my axe. So every now and then, every half an hour, he was taking a break just to sharpen his axe. So the message here is, in this whole professional world, whatever Mr. B is doing, you should do it. There is no harm. But always the chopping the trees is not leading you anywhere. They actually forget about sharpen their axe. It means that you are forgetting to sharpen your own axe in terms of training. If you are properly trained as to how to do it, that will really help and sustain in your career. So sharpen your axe is by learning new things in your career. So do participate in the training. Sometimes you have to sit down and learn what is happening surround, what is happening in environment, what is happening surroundings, and do participate in training program. Learn new things so that your productivity will be higher. It's not just the hard work which pays off, it's about smart work, I would say. So this is my just message to all the participants, that do not take training for the granted, and I think participate more to learn more. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really insightful. So before I open the Q&A, ma'am, with your permission, I have one
Yeah, yeah.
question, if I may ask.
Yes,
So,
Varun.
ma'am, over the period of 10 years, I have seen that hospital information system and human resource management system has become a mandatory part of healthcare these days. Now, Medlearn is a family of 400 plus hospitals, and we come across these questions from L&D and HR professionals, that how they can create the urgency to get the healthcare learning platform solution implemented across all the areas of the hospital, because many HR and L&D professionals, they do face this challenge. They face certain resistance from the staff members. Also, they have heard these types of things from the HODs, that, oh, there is one more software now. So that, okay, how many softwares we have to work all together? The hospital is becoming completely digitized. That's the motive of the key leaders and stakeholders. But how they can create that urgency to implement learning solutions in their routine trainings landscape?
Varun, it's not about urgency. There is no word called urgency. I think we just can't go back. See, when we talk about the training solution, be it your digital solutions, or the manual solution, whatever solutions we talk about. The idea is to inculcate the importance of training, whatever mode you take. So it's not about all the CEOs or maybe the HR managers will say ki kitne software. I think we have to end up see, if we talk about the WhatsApp, there are other messaging tools also, no, we have lot many other apps, still we are using it. Like many of the people are on the social media, not only on LinkedIn and Twitter, they also use the Facebook, they also use the Instagram. So though so all these, today is, by the way, social media day and we are talking social media, good. So all these social media tools are available in the market. It's what do you like, what are your preference area, and what do you do that actually happens. So which hospital you go to, how that hospital is behaving in terms of digital transformation, how that hospital's leaders are talking on thinking on taking L&D as a next level, if there is a budget assigned for the learning and develop department, if there is a thought process evolved in their vision and mission statement where they have to take this institute to the next level, I think they can only adapt. And such barriers are just for the namesake. I do not consider these are barriers at all. It's just that one has to understand the importance of L&D, and that is what I've been talking about, that participate in training and give leverage to the training. Otherwise, you are not going to survive. That's it. Point it.
Thank you. So, ma'am, there are few questions people have asked in the chat box. So, the first question is, do you think training can impact operational indicators like average length of stay and average revenue per operational bed?
Obviously, I have already shared that your hospitalization data is there. 30% readmissions have been reduced. In my one of the slide, I've already said that after having the structured program, and these are all research data, which are published data I'm talking about, the 30% of readmission rates has been decreased in the hospital but just by having the training, properly training done. And what about the revenue? Of course, I mean, when your patients are happy, they're going to come again, right? And then they are going to become a permanent customer. And मुझे एक चीज बताइए, what the hospitals are not focusing on, when, and that is have the training is required. I'm a patient, I was admitted, my all initial vitals are assessed and they are documented in the patient file, not in the HMIS. I don't have a data, that's why I'm talking about the data. So I'm a diabetic, my all history is taken in that particular patient file. At the time of discharge, I'm given a prescription wherein few medications I have to take on for the lifetime, for my diabetes management, for my hypertension and whatnot. I have a cholesterol, that also have to. These are all chronic diseases. We have to take the medication lifelong. So what I do, I buy the medicine from the pharmacy when I'm taking exit. So that is one transaction is done. That patient is gone and you have left that patient. If you have a proper data, that patient has a cholesterol, patient has a diabetes, and the patient is totally dependent on this medication, you can convert that patient into customer. You can always refill that medicine every 6 months by just putting a one phone call or bus having your one app, which is so creating a satisfactory response to the patients, and that patient will be your permanent customer. It's just that if you have a data, you can chart out the data every 6 months. You call the patient if patient need any if even the app is not there, you can have the manual transaction done, manual system in place. There is one person just talking to the patient post discharge and having the requirement totally addressed. How about this? That is bringing your revenue. It's just one call, phone call, one system you have to introduce. But all those 1,000 patients getting discharged, they are gonna to come back. So when we talk about the reduced hospital admissions, that is for good. We are not, I think, leveraging on the many opportunities which are left in the hospital.
Absolutely. Ma'am, another question is from one of the HR. For clinical area, what kind of training do you think most effective, like simulation or classroom?
Both. So in simulation based training, medical professionals, of course, because the simulation is such wherein they would rather entertain and they would rather enjoy compared to the classroom training. But classroom training ko interesting kaise banaya jata hai, that is also an art. So when you have the classroom training, rather than having the monologue, keep it interactive, introduce case study, introduce game, make it very live. Rope the participants in a way that they learn better by putting up the practical practical challenges and solutions. I think that way we can create a very beautiful atmosphere in the room, even for the clinical staff, because the clinical staff ko koi zyada puchta nahi hai, because they are all busy in the theaters, they are all busy in ICUs. We should bring them down in the classroom, give them a cup of tea or coffee, make them comfortable. I think that way we can improve on trainings.
Ma'am, another question. What are the key operational trainings that you would suggest to any hospital, irrespective of their bed size and employee size?
Of course, the patient communication with the patient that goes, I mean, all kind of training besides the number of beds or scope you cater to in terms of specialty. Few of the trainings are very well required. Whether you fly from the Indigo or whether you fly for the Air Asia doesn't make any difference. You are flying, boss. Your safety in their hands. So the do's and don'ts तो वैसे भी करने ही पड़ेंगे. Wherever a patient is somewhere in the rural area, a patient is in the urban area, how does it make a difference? Patient is patient. We are dealing with the human lives, and what are protocols we have developed that has to be done. So there is no sort of such things where only 10th number of training is required and larger hospital में ज़्यादा चाहिए. I don't buy that point. Sorry, but everything is required, irrespective of size.
Thank you. Another question which I can see. Ma'am, do you think attrition in healthcare can be controlled through training?
Yes, definitely. Reason being, after put them on the training, and I would say see, let us talk about the Generation Z. We are talking on the younger student, younger employees coming to the system. They are not only happy with the perks which you give, the salary which you give. They are not just happy with the positions which you give. They are only happy. It's like, exceeding the employee satisfaction. So employees are satisfied, fine. But अगर बाजू वाला मुझे 500 रुपए ज्यादा दे रहा है, तो nurse would go. Nurse would leave this job because there is no attachment to the organization. There is no engagement which is happening. So training, of course, will give the employee engagement experience. Motivation will be high. And even though everything is not monetary, even though the बाजू वाला gives me 5,000 more, I would really think twice that why would I go? Because I'm quite happy here. It's not about the salary which talk. It's about the happiness index which you measure in the organization whether your employees are happy. So I think employee satisfaction ko index ko change karke the indicator should be employee happiness index. If the employees are happy and engaged, I think they'll do wonderful and they would not leave. Certainly.
Sure. Ma'am, we'll request for 5 more minutes because I can see a lot of questions here.
No problem.
So
Please go on.
I believe you
Can I
have
ask
already.
one?
Yes, yes, Deepak, please go ahead.
So, ma'am, in your experience, how can knowledge decay be arrested, and knowledge can be made available at the point of care where it makes the most difference? Have you come across any strategies for that?
So knowledge at the time of implementation.
Yeah, normally what we've seen is that after some trainings, the typical traditional training sometimes, I mean, you get great feedback from the about the trainer, etc. But then after 2 3 months, if you don't get to be able to practice that when you really need it at a point in time, then the recall is slightly sometimes delayed. I mean, it's difficult. Is there any strategies or digital strategies that you've seen that can work effectively there?
Yes, so when we talk about the digital and tech-based program, whatever app we are using for the training materials, it can be customized. So if you had, let's say, design a training for the nurses, so you have the customized information right away. So you can they can go through their laptop or they can go to their computer or maybe the mobile, and there is a search button. If I have to give XYZ injection, I have to insert the vent flow, say for example, or I have to carry out the ECG at the patient side. So what are the protocols to be followed? So as you rightly mentioned, there is a conventional process. What we do is patient ke bed ke side pe we narrow out the protocol, step 1, step 2, step 3. That is also in NABH. Your staff nurse should know that these are the steps to be followed. कि पहले leads लगाने हैं, फिर ये machine चालू करना है and all that. Now in digital thing, if the user ID is created, app is created, you just have to just search the ECG and the ECG related material comes up and immediately the staff goes beside the patient. I think they can just follow. So that is one kind of solution. So there are not many such solutions are available digitally connected. So that will give the authenticated information rather than just going with a manual thing.
Thank you.
And that
Ma'am,
would also the scientifically written down protocol which cannot lead to any error. So that is also very important. Yeah, Varun.
Ma'am, another question was mental health and psychological. I guess you have already answered this, but still I will read out the question. Mental health and psychological support are important aspect for healthcare workers. What is, in your opinion, is there any role of training in the psychological support to the healthcare professionals?
So when we talk about the T&D, we also talk about the mental health, whether employees are happy or not, or are they facing any challenges with regard to their work and work atmosphere. So if they have any grievances or if they have any challenges within the work environment, they can always raise. And this is not about the training, but then yes, the sessions are very important on a mental health. We have seen lot many things going up and down during the COVID and even now. So all the MNC company, all the organization, besides hospitals also, they have this program running. So if you have any issues, you can just give an access to the psychologist or mental health experts, which can be there as a unbiased approach. One can always open up and discuss their issues. I think by having that platform would really lead to a lower attrition and satisfaction.
Sure. Ma'am, one last question before we close the Q&A. Uh, have you witnessed or came across any new additions as per NABH fifth edition? Because I can, when I attended previous KAHO, Dr. Kocher emphasized on the sixth edition under revision. So, in your anticipation, can you highlight on certain aspect which NABH would like to see in the existing training landscape of the hospitals?
Where the edition is under process, it has not published yet,
Correct.
so cannot really comment being an insider. Okay, what is gonna to come? But certainly, I can vouch that digital technology hold the transformation part of training, and taking the data support is certainly going to be there. So in one of the chapter, you will see that emphasis has been given to the training, emphasis been given to the digital technology.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the wonderful session. It was very insightful and impressive. We are really privileged that we got an opportunity to hear from a seasoned expert like you. We are looking forward to similar interactions in future. Deepak, any words from your end?
No, it's been a brilliant session, one of our best. A big shout out to all the audience and very, very inquisitive questions. And thank you so much. Hopefully, we will do answer all the questions. And ma'am, it's a pleasure having you. Hope to have you back soon. Until then,
Thank you.
hope you keep evangelizing the role of discipline training in hospitals. It's a big thing. It's a big contribution
Thank
to the end.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, ma'am.
Deepakji. Thank you, Varun. And
Thank you.
my all good wishes to the Medlar. And Medlar
Thank you,
is
ma'am.
doing actually wonderful job. And only the healthcare context, they are specialized and customized. And I really hope that with this era of, artificial intelligence and chat GPT and whatnot, I think this digital app should rock in
Thank you.
industry.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
ma'am. Thank you to all
All
the
right. Thank you.
participants. Stay tuned for more expert sessions like this. Those who weren't able to see the screen or weren't able to join the session, we would be sharing the YouTube link across with everyone. Stay tuned for further more updates. If you want to get more details on Medlearn, please visit our website, info@medlearn.com. And we will see you all in the next session very soon. We wish you all a happy learning experience and a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.